So Brett Kavanaugh, guys, Brett Kavanaugh. It's been a lot of conversation about old Brett Kavanaugh. We all know the situation with Brett Kavanaugh. He's been accused of sexual misconduct. He's been accused of forcing himself on a woman back in the early 80s at a house party of some sort. A lot of people are vacating Kavanaugh. They're leaving him sort of at the altar, so to speak, because he's bad for business at this point. Even Donald Trump is on the record saying that he wants to hear what Mrs. Ford has to say, Christine Blasey Ford, who is the woman who wrote the article, well, not the article, but a letter with allegations about Brett Kavanaugh. She is the alleged victim of Brett Kavanaugh. And Trump says, well, if she testifies, it'll be very interesting to see what she has to say. If what she testifies is credible, maybe we got to take another look at Brett Kavanaugh. I try to cover on this show all the things about Brett Kavanaugh that a lot of people are leaving out. I want it to be known there's some things about Brett Kavanaugh and what he stands for, besides the allegations, that are problematic to begin with for people who want liberty and justice and equal access in this country. Brett Kavanaugh does not believe in net neutrality. He wants to give it to private organizations and the corporations. He wants to allow them to control our internet. I have a problem with that. Brett Kavanaugh seems to govern a lot using his Bible. Right here in my Bible, it says this and that, therefore, the Bible. I have a problem with people who can't separate church and state. Democrats want the Kavanaugh confirmation delayed. Some want Brett Kavanaugh thrown out altogether. Kavanaugh does not support net neutrality. Kavanaugh believes a president can pardon himself. I got a problem with this. No human being should be given the type of power that they can pardon themselves. Doesn't make sense. I mean, our Constitution, our government is built in such a way that we have checks and balances. Judicial branch, executive branch, we're all legislative branch. They're here to check themselves and not give too much power to any one area of government. I don't see why that would be any different when it comes to a president. Now, I get why Donald Trump may like the fact he could appoint a justice that would be favorable in him pardoning himself in the future if it came to that. But as far as precedent and what that means, because Chief Justice will be on the bench much longer than Donald Trump will be president, regardless of what happens with the Russia investigation or in the Moments Clause violation or whatever they're saying that Trump did in order to try to get him out of there. Brett Kavanaugh will be appointed for life. So, like I stated, there are a lot of things that give me a lot of pause about Brett Kavanaugh. They have nothing to do with the allegations. But when you factor in the allegations as well, yeah. Now, someone, I think it was Charlie Peach, she sent me. In fact, I know it was Charlie Peach because she sent me a text and she says, Tim, Lawrence O'Donnell sent out a tweet where he talked about how it's unlikely that Miss Christine Ford is lying because she wants the FBI to investigate. Liars don't typically want the FBI to investigate. And Charlie, to her credit, she said, well, didn't Joy Reid want the FBI to investigate her hacked server, her hacked website? And it turned out to be totally bogus. Touche, Charlie, touche. All right, so Brett Kavanaugh is a conservative, but he also a person who appears to have no guiding principles other than Republican talking points. I want a Chief Justice who believes in something and will stand on what they believe, those beliefs, defending the Constitution and the rule of law for all citizens, not a Trump-controlled puppet. That's what I want. So, if Ford appears before the committee and makes a credible showing, that will be very interesting, and we'll have to make a decision, says Trump. If she shows up, that would be wonderful. If she doesn't show up, that would be unfortunate, says Trump. So let's all hope for Miss Ford, Christine Blasey Ford, to show up to add more credence to her testimony. But it does not look like the FBI will be investigating. And one of the conditions before her testimony was she wanted the FBI to investigate the allegations that she made. Now, this is just me spitballing, coming up with something what I think is true here. I believe that Miss Ford believes that it would take a lot of heat off of her if the FBI could already vet her statements. That way we don't have to go through a whole process of, oh, she's lying, which is what they're saying now. Just because somebody's timing may not be opportune. Remember, Miss Ford wrote this letter to Dianne Feinstein back in July. It wasn't Miss Ford's, it's not her fault that Feinstein didn't release it until now. It's not her fault. Like, she wrote the letter. Now, you may say, why didn't she release it a month, 2 months ago, a year ago? Yeah, it's really not up to us to kind of like make that claim, because we're not the ones who were victims. According to Miss Ford, she's been in therapy for this issue. It altered the course of her life as far as how she deals with relationships. This incident allegedly with Brett Kavanaugh that she says happened. That's what she says happened. So it's really not up to you or I to kind of determine like when's a good timing for it. But as far as it pertains to this, people say it's really fishy because it's coming out now. It's like 11:58 before the midnight thing, and here this comes. Well, if Dianne Feinstein would have released the information, we could have got a jump on it at least a couple months ago, but she didn't. She says she didn't release the information because she wanted to keep Mrs. Ford's anonymity. Well, how'd that work out for you, Feinstein? She's really anonymous now, right? It doesn't make much sense. Doesn't make much sense. What are my chat people talking about? Tim Black's Wolfpack. JBJG says his buddy Redacted won't even testify on his behalf. Brett is looking guiltier by the day. Now, good point. Good point. But to JB's point, yeah, there is when he says redacted, he means a friend of Kavanaugh's that Christine Ford names in her letter. That friend has been on has made statements saying that he doesn't recall this incident ever occurring. So that's where we are with that. But that was another point that's made, JB, is that if Christine Ford is making this all up and this is all for political purposes, why would she like put people in the room? See, one of those ironclad stories that are hard to disprove or prove are stories that involve just one person and another person and no one else around. And it truly becomes a he said, she said type of a situation. So that's one of the reasons why some people are saying, hey, there's a lot of credibility in these allegations, because she put someone in the room where this can be confirmed or corroborated. And she gave this information up a couple months ago, and it's not her fault that Dianne Feinstein of the Judiciary Committee did not give over this information to the Judiciary Committee so that it could be improperly investigated. I just said a lot real quick, didn't I? Brandon says that Brett Kavanaugh, oh no, his friend, he's talking about Redacted. He said maybe the Redacted guy who's a friend of Kavanaugh was wasted at the party, so he can't remember anything that happened. Yeah, that's possible. I don't know. Carla Levine said, I'm sure that Ford didn't want to go public, but she wanted the info out there. Carla, I have no idea. I would assume as well that if someone who hasn't become public, haven't gone public about this for, 35 years, probably doesn't want to go public at all, maybe feels compelled to go public. Tough situation. Tough call. Tough call. Brett Kavanaugh is a big issue, and I understand, and a lot of people are concerned with it. And for the reasons that I've laid out, you know where I stand as far as his ideology. But it's not up to me. It's up to those people in Congress, and hopefully we'll get a better Chief Justice. And but one thing I do fear, guys, and I'm gonna throw this out there, I do fear worse. Yeah, see, like I do fear there being a worse pick out there. Like with Trump, I fear Pence. With Kavanaugh, I fear Roy Moore. They're worse people than Brett Kavanaugh. Now, Trump did endorse Roy Moore, so maybe that's why he endorsed Brett Kavanaugh. But I'm just saying, there are worse people. Sometimes a bird in the hand is better than a creep in the bush, the bigger than the bush, something like that, something. All right.